What's going on, everybody? Mike here with iSMELL. Hope this video is finding everybody warm and well. In today's video, we are going to be diving into the house of Scentual Obsessions. What I have are two fragrances from that house. Essentially, they are the same fragrance though, just iterations of each other. Those two fragrances include Andy Warhol, as well as Andy Warhol 2.0. Now, for those of y'all that are unaware, Andy Warhol and Andy Warhol 2.0 from Scentual Obsessions is inspired by Bond No. 9's Andy Warhol. Doesn't take a rocket scientist. What I'm gonna be doing today is comparing and contrasting them both. I will let y'all know how they smell similar and how they smell different. I will compare the opening as well as the dry down. So yeah, quite a bit of information in this video. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I do want to provide a little insight regarding the origin of Scentual Obsessions, as I find their come up to be extremely interesting. Kevin Holt, the founder of Scentual Obsessions, essentially got this from the mud. He started at the grassroots levels in the flea markets. He was selling his fragrances inspired by fragrances. That comes no surprise to us who are already in the community. And because of his success and demand to grow, he had to expand his operations. It would be around 2017 that he relocated down to Florida, where he is currently at now. It would be over the next couple years that Kevin would begin to successfully tap and connect with the online fragrance community, and he would come to learn that there was a desire for niche style scent profiles at cost-effective prices. That is ultimately the vision of Scentual Obsession, is to provide long-lasting, high-quality fragrance without breaking the bank. And I can certainly appreciate that, because that's literally what I grew my channel on as well, that philosophy. You don't have to spend a lot to smell great. Also do want to apologize beforehand. Normally when I review these quote-unquote clone fragrances, I generally do like to have the original fragrance, have smelt it already. That way I have a point of reference. In this case, I don't have one. It's not for a lack of trying. It was surprisingly hard to acquire a sample of Bond No. 9 Andy Warhol. So again, for that, I do apologize. It's also worth noting that I was not able to find the note breakdown for Scentual Obsessions versions of Andy Warhol. I went on the website and I didn't find any notes listed there. I can tell you the notes I pick up on, and that's going to be citruses, plum, rose, olibanum, agarwood, as well as musk. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and spray the opening. I will also compare the dry down. I already sprayed that about an hour or two ago. Yeah, so we're going to spray the Andy Warhol first. And I do have a scent strip for the opening, if that ever shows. Okay. And this is a Perfume concentration, to my understanding. I would not spray this on your clothes, not at all, because this is very heavily concentrated with oils. Spray your skin, that's fine, but I would not spray your clothes if you don't want them to stain. This fragrance does last a very long time. I will admit, it lasts a very long time. And this is going to be the 2.0 opening. I can smell it in the air. I would say they have more similarities than they do differences. That's 100% for sure. They are the same fragrance, essentially. It's my understanding that the 2.0 just increased the amount of plum. That is my understanding, and I do think that conveys when you smell the opening. You might have to give it just like 30 seconds or so for that alcohol smell to dissipate. Yeah. Okay, I do know I asked my wife about this before I hit record. I had her smell the opening as well, and she did say that the 2.0 smelled stronger and sweeter, and I'm inclined to agree with her as well. Personally, I do enjoy the original versus the 2.0. Although I like how he increased the plum note in 2.0, I do feel like it kind of drowns out some of the other notes, and it makes the fragrance come across as less complex. Yeah. This one comes across as more spicy, and the olibanum does kind of give it that spiciness, that frankincense. There is also labdanum in this fragrance. I didn't really mention that, but there is labdanum facets, so some people might pick up on leathery facets in this fragrance as well. Ultimately, this is a fragrance that has dark plum, so it's very sweet and dark, but because of those citruses, it's very bright as well. It has agarwood, so you're going to have a dark, dank, damp woodiness to the fragrance. I would say I almost pick up on the agarwood a little bit more in 2.0. So, like I said, it has more similarities than it has differences. What I'm gonna do now is kind of just blind smell these and see if I can tell the difference. Okay. If I was a betting man, I would say that this is the original Andy Warhol because it's a bit more spicy. And this one's coming across as a bit more sweet, but again, I could be totally wrong. Yep, no, I'm right. This is the Andy Warhol. Ooh, well, that didn't really work. And then this is the 2.0. Yeah, so I can tell a difference. It's subtle. I would just say that it's a little bit spicier. It's a little bit more well-rounded, but if you were a lover of super sweet fragrances and you enjoy plum, this right here is an amazing fragrance. I have over 100 fragrances in my collection, and I don't have anything that smells like this, so kudos. You did great, Kevin. Okay, so now I'm gonna smell the Drydown to see if I can smell any difference as well. I have the Drydown for Andy Warhol, if he'll ever show, as well as this one. That's the 2.0. Okay. It's a nice woody Drydown. It maintains some of the sweetness. The sweetness never goes away fully. And just based on my experience, I do feel like the original, for some reason, has better longevity. I don't know the reasons behind that, but I do feel like this one smells stronger, so I'm gonna say this is the original. Man, I know my collection. Yep. Yep. And then this is gonna be the 2.0. So yeah, at the end of the day, do I recommend this fragrance? Absolutely. It is $30 for 30 milliliters. It's a parfum concentration. It smells like nothing I have in my collection. It's a great winter fragrance with beast mode longevity, and it smells high quality. Way better than anything you're gonna get at Dua, in my opinion, but that's just a side note. Yeah, it's a great fragrance, Kevin. I absolutely have been enjoying it. I have a lot of fragrances in my collection, and I have knocked a little bit of a dent in both of these, so I mean, that goes without saying. I enjoy both of them, but I do slightly prefer the original a little more. That would be my recommendation to y'all. Again, from Scentual Obsessions, that's going to be it for the most part. I can tell the difference, and I do prefer the original Andy Warhol Scentual Obsessions version. All right, guys, that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for me. Those are my thoughts and opinions, as well as compare and contrast of Scentual Obsessions, Andy Warhol, as well as Andy Warhol 2.0. I really do appreciate you taking the time to check out this video, even more so if you watched until the end. If you enjoy fragrance-related content, if you found value in this video specifically, I am going to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. I mean, why not? It's free dollars. It literally costs you nothing. I can't sit here and say I have a ton of content coming down the pipe, but what I can promise you is that every single time I upload, you are going to be getting authentic and honest opinions. At the very least, that has to count for something, y'all. I really do love and appreciate all of you. Until next time, I'll see y'all around. Y'all take care. Bye.